Good morning. It's early. I'm tired. Let's do some game development. I'm David from PhotoPixel. I am making a game called Family Tree, which is a little puzzle game that's coming together quite nicely. I've gotten most of the systems in place. Still a few little bits and pieces to work on, and then I'll be getting into just making content, filling in the actual game itself, which will mainly be hair colors, I think, at this point. So let's have a look what we're up to. Yeah, so we've got kind of a major bug where you can complete a level by just, well, the level doesn't, the gameplay doesn't stop when a level is complete. So while the level complete dialog is showing, you can drag a photo out of its slot and into its slot, thereby completing the level again and incrementing the level, and the level keeps going up and up and up. So let's jump over here and see what we've got. There's my debug canvas just there, but I think everything else is just normal. Okay, should be all right to play here. Let me just grab the player prefs here and just pop that in there and set that level back to 1 and regenerate. 1, regenerate. There's nothing actually reading from this, so that's why that's doing that. I might give myself a debug setting for that. And look at that, this code just here is the current level property, and it's being set to that. And this is the enum constant. I just want to find my references here. That's not what I want. Find all references. There we go. Shift F12, I should have just pressed. Cool, so we've got it just there, line 25, and also over here, line 46. So we're only actually reading that into there at start. Wondering, should I? Be nice to have a little debug console that I could set things in, but that's probably way too much to set up here for a little game like this. I know it's possible. Okay, so I want my UI manager. Grab that debug canvas here, and let's see. I could just make I'll just make another button here. I think I'll just call that reset level. Oh wait, I've got a way to reset the level. The way to reset the level is just get rid of that button for now. I mean, stopping and starting the game will do it anyway. But I had that last time. Press this and it will reset the level to 1. And so now I'm on level 1. So I'll complete level 1. And now let's have a look at that bug. Just zoom in so I can actually see these. But I think you can do this by accident behind the button. Is you just pick up one of the photos and drop it back in there. This is the only photo that's pick up and droppable. And here now we're up to level 10. Level 15. So on. So that's the issue there. So we can reset that back to 1. Yeah. And yeah, so basically restart the game now. Zoom that. So that's there. Okay, I'll just move that down to line up with the button. So level 3. Okay, that. Oh, yeah. So that got us to level 4 and said the level's complete as well. So definitely wrong there. So that demonstrates the issue. Basically, the way to fix that is to have it so that I might just hide that main menu for now. The way to fix that is while the game is playing, sorry, when the level's complete, have the game in a state where it can't play anymore. And how can I have a state of the game? You can just do it with a whole bunch of Boolean flags and things that you turn on and off for different things. But what we really want is a state machine. So state machine is in a single state. You can have a enumeration of states that are all the possible states the game could be in, and you can do things like constrain what transitions between states are possible, and that kind of thing. So that's what I'm going to do. So let me start with, I'm actually going to end up moving all of this into here because some packages that you install tend to throw things into the top level of the assets directory. And so putting everything into a subdirectory can help to identify and separate those things. What have I got there? Config and settings. I'll put it in here for now and migrate it. Right, so and let's create a folder here for game state system. So it's not a very complicated game here. So I hadn't really bothered setting up some game state. But in this case, I do not want a mono behavior. I don't even want a class. I want this to be called game. Sorry, this is enum. So we don't need any of those things there. I've got a few other enums in here. Let's have a quick little look here. for example, slots can have different types, so that's in an enum. And here we've got the game state and what I had written here before. We've got playing, so we've got a level in progress. Not paused or anything. And I could just have like playing and paused. That would sort of work here, but I'm going to go for... There is no pause button. It's not really a game that needs to be paused. But just whenever a menu is open, it would be good. Just to make sure that nothing can happen in the background. Something going on with this T here, but don't worry. I've sorted it out. Somehow beard hair got in there. Don't know who's put that in there. Probably one of the kids. All right. So we can be playing. Another state is level complete. So this is just when the level complete dialog is showing. It can also be on the main menu. These are kind of self-explanatory. I don't think these descriptions are adding anything. The good thing about this is we can switch to level complete state as soon as that level is complete, even if there's a delay before showing the dialogue, anything like that. I've got etc. here, but that might be the only ones that I need, only states that I need. Okay, I could handle this in Game Manager or something. But I might just make what I want is for this to be readable from anywhere, basically. So I might make a singleton. Is it worth making a whole other thing? I will put it in the Game Manager for now. So I've got those states there now. Valid transitions. You can pretty much just go from anything to anything at this point. Can you? Or you can't go from main menu to level complete. Oh, I wonder if it's possible at the moment to trigger that bug from the settings screen. I've just realized I don't have my audio coming out of the right place. Oopsie. Alright, is my audio still working after that? There we go. Okay. And I need to turn something up. I think I need to turn this up in the settings. It's really quiet. There. I wasn't counting on actually completing a level here. Okay, medium wavy hair. That could work. Yeah. Settings. Yep. Oh. Where did I put that person now? I've gone on. I don't know where I've put that person down. Oh, I actually pressed level complete. Didn't I? Let me reset the level. just get to level 2 because that's easier to do this with. Okay, so I'll get ready to complete that, which must be this way around. Alright, so let's just make that take up lots of space. And here we go. So there's our next level button, which is right here. So I can trigger that from here. Yep, 10, 11, 12. And I should be able to maybe press this button here. And yeah, so now I have pressed that button on the level complete dialog while the settings are open. So I actually probably also need a settings screen button, but I need to figure out which I need to figure out what state to go back to. Because you can do settings from anywhere. I don't know about that one. I'll need to think about that. So what was the point of that? I was going to look at whether I need valid transitions there. No, probably not. So I probably won't make a full state machine here. I may here just start writing the code in the game manager anyway. So we got current level. I'll just put a game state field in here. Let's make that a property. Call it current game state. I'll make a little private field here. Nope, no circular references, thank you. Now let's default that to main menu. So let's start on that main menu, which I'm currently not showing, so it won't actually start in that state at the moment. And the reason I'm making it a property is that if I do want to have valid transitions in here, I can limit those here. I nearly made it French there. Value. V-A-L-U. I don't know enough French to know if that is actual French. All right. This is a tired one. I probably should have just stayed asleep at this point, but oh well, that is how it works sometimes. Okay. So that is private by default. So let me just make it public. And we'll go from there. So to fix this bug, let's just mark that off and just say decided not to. Or just delete that, since that will be more accurate. And then, yeah, this limit interaction with photos to only when playing. So basically have set up sort of a state machine. Now we want... oops, that's not the open a file, please button. I did the shortcut to open a file in VS Code rather than Visual Studio. Right, so I want person here. So this is an iDraggable. That's an interface that I defined previously. And look at this. They don't have age anymore. What's it suggesting here? Serialized field attribute is invalid or redundant. I wonder why. It's a bit weird. And what's going on with target person? Sorry, I'm just getting distracted by all these little dots on these lines, which are, it means there's some kind of suggestion from Visual Studio. Make field read only. Oh, they never changed target person. Hey. Anyway, what I'm looking to do here is not allow any dragging. So there's the iDraggable interface. And that means you implement some things. Oh, cool, we're not calling sets right. I need to go and clean up these at some point. I'm just going to make here. I've got a general code cleanup thing here. And just in general, we have unused code there. That'll be a good change to make. But back to what I'm doing right now. So I might just expand this here. And yeah, we've got some drag related stuff. We've got his dragging. We've got this mouse down. So here, this is saying you can't drag a person who is a goal person. And that doesn't mean they're a goalkeeper. It just means they're one of the people who you are trying to... one of the people who is locked in their slot, basically. It's probably not very accurately named anymore. But yeah, they're not draggable or mergeable. And we've got a few things that will make them. So on mouse down, it checks. On mouse up, also checks. On mouse drag. So yeah, they just won't be involved in any of those things. And then there's the person you're targeting. And here, that should not even be called on there. All right, so basically in all these places, I'll just make, so I can add an extra condition to there, or what I think I'll do is make a little method here called canDrag, and that's just going to be the compound condition. So you can drag if not is goal person, and I'll go to OK Manager instance, current game state is equal to game state dot playing. There. So now you can only drag them if they're not a goal person, and if the game's currently in a playing state. It's a little bit both there, but that's fine at this point. Make this a property here. So I'll do get and that's all it's got. No setter. We don't need one. And that way I can just go like this. Don't need to call it. I don't need to add parentheses on there. Cool. Okay, now that was another place that had it. That is no longer the line that has it. Here. Got mouse up. Got to make sure I do not canDrag. So it's good to always do things in a positive when possible, rather than have something called like canDrag, because then like you're doing mental backflips trying to figure out not canDrag or something. So keep it simple so that you can use your brain and figure it out, even if you're tired because you woke up too early, so that you could have a bit of time to do game development because you got tired of not having time for game development. That tea is almost cold. I really need to get some kind of keeping tea warm system going. Okay. Inconsistent line endings. Sure, let's just go with Unix line endings. Yes. Is that? I wonder if that was referring to the diff here. Weird. Anyway, let's see. That's target person. This one down here. This is calling a matched goal. Let's hit Shift F12 on that one. And that is in check for goal match. So yeah, that's actually old code that is not called. Do I want to clean that up right now? Not when I'm tired. I might end up deleting something that I shouldn't have deleted. Okay, so that is not doing all of that yet. I'm trying to limit interactions to be only when playing, and I sort of have, except I'm not actually changing the game state in Game Manager. Let's bring that game state over there. So it's just starting out at main menu, and then it just stays there forever. So when we're on that main menu and we press the button, I think we'll maybe need another thing. We've got a panel here with a button which is named button, but the text on that says play the game, so that must be the right one. And that is calling Game Manager victory button. Click OK, which actually starts the next level. So I need to rename that at some point. But for now, let's not. Let's just make this thing work. Victory button, click OK. So we reset level, so that's generating the next level. It's hiding the victory dialog, and at that point, then it will be ready to set the current game state. Do I want to use the property here? The reason to use the property is to only do valid transitions, which at the moment is anything. So we'll set it to playing. And I think that method is being called by all of the things, all the different places that start a level. So the regenerate button and the victory dialog next level button. So that should set us into a playing state. Now we've got to get out of a playing state when the level is complete. So start on main menu. So when we are showing the victory dialog, oops, press that wrong shortcut again. Let me just check in my UI manager. What have we got in there? Show victory dialog here. So I guess that's... No, we're showing the victory dialog after a delay. So let's just see where that's called. Show victory dialog true is where it's showing it. So we've got a delay here. It's going to wait for that long and then show that dialog. But it's really report level finished right here. This is where we're actually recording the level being finished. So I think this is the place here. We're already in Game Manager, so we don't need Game Manager.instance. Current game state. Game state dot level complete. There we go. So that's setting us to be in level complete. The instant that the level is finished, before it increments that level or anything, and that should stop any interactions based on having made them all conditional on being in a playing state. So that should basically, we'll start on main menu, then we'll go to playing, and then it'll flip between level complete and playing. So that's good. Now I just need to think about the settings. When I open settings, it should be making that level here in the background inert, but it's clearly not because I can hear things getting dragged around back there. So yeah, I don't want to be in a settings dialog state either. So I will need to factor that in. Let me grab a blackboard here and just draw something. So grab this. Yes, this is my wonderful drawing from before. What happened over there? Something changed. The loading bar or something. All right, so right now we're basically entering, and we have an initial state of main menu. And then at the moment I don't have any starting level state, but I do think I want that because I'm going to have, when you start new level, I want it to maybe zoom. I don't know if that should be something that takes time and is animated or not. Anyway, we're basically going main menu. So we're in that main menu state. Then we're transitioning to playing. And then we're going to level complete. And then from level complete, we're going back to playing, which is not something I've drawn on this diagram here. I've got a simpler diagram. I think that's okay, but what about settings? There we go, the fastest typer in the West. Not typer, that's not typing. Oh, this is drawing, mouse writing. Okay, so settings, the thing is we can open settings from main menu. We can open settings from playing. We can even open settings from level complete. And I do want that to be possible because that's where you can mute your volume. I'm not a bad guy. I don't want to have people forced to have their volume going. So the issue here is that if I include this in the state machine and have a single state, that you can transition to and from, then how, when I'm in this state, will I determine what state I should be going back to? So the settings isn't really related to the actual state that the game is in. It's kind of a way to look at this. It's not a different state for the game to be in. It is more of a, but it is kind of a state, settings dialog open, but it's different. It's not part of the flow of the game. So if I do have a state for settings, I need to know which state to go back to. So maybe I need a previous state, a field storing the previous state that I can go back to, or maybe I need a different set of states that represent settings open while main menu is open. Yeah, that's a possibility too. I could have like main menu settings, state that you can go to and from here, and then playing settings, state that is allowed to go back and forth here, and a level complete settings state. So that's adding a lot of states, but it's keeping it all within a single state. Now, an advantage of having this as a state, having settings being a state, it means that when the settings are open, that is not in a playing state. So that logic that I put in to person to say you can't drag them around if it's not in a playing state, that will still be in effect. So I do want it to be a game state for that reason. But maybe that would be more like a paused state. So you sort of go back and forth between playing and paused. Right now, I don't think I have anything to stop the dialogues from being interactable when they're open. Like, I think when you open settings, it's not actually disabling the main menu or level complete dialogue, and it probably should be. So I think I'll solve this the simplest way, not by adding a bunch of different states here. But just by adding a setting state. So I'll have that setting state, and I'll just store a previous state in here. And we'll just initialize that with main menu. So that's what it'll go back to. Now, how am I going to logic this? Well, let's just see, where does the settings dialog open? I think that's in my HUD canvas here. So I want it to be always there. And it just calls the UI manager show settings dialog. So let's have a look in there. Again, Control P doesn't open a thing. Okay, UI manager. Here we go, show settings dialog. So we can show or hide that. So basically, we want to change the state here. That to happen after there. So if we were showing it, then I want to set current game state to game state.settings. And I've got to make sure I update what this property setter does. Now, I don't have any way of doing this right now. So I'll go and do that other thing first. Got to set it to the previous state. So in Game Manager here, And really these are more accurate, but that's fine. So making this a property was a very good idea, because now I can just do this, and now it's recording the previous game state. So now I have that, but I haven't exposed it. So I can just expose that as a read-only. Oh, there we go. That knows what I want to do, but it probably doesn't. Well, just have a getter. Oh. Okay. Now that's readable. So now we'll go back to that UI manager, wherever that's opened. I'll just do that. All right. So where were we? There we go. All of those. So I might just pull these out here to a local. That's not where I wanted it. Maybe here. Why don't I name that GM instead? That'll be fine. Yeah. So yeah, we're basically on show. We say we're going to settings, and on hide, we just go to the previous state. So a little bit of a hack. It's not in the sense that it's not the doing a proper state machine where the state completely encapsulates that state. But actually I want to do some stuff here. There's some other stuff I was thinking of that I hadn't really mentioned yet, unless I ever did mention it, I don't remember. We're basically just add all that stuff in here. So one thing is we want to set it to the state, but also I want to do some things here. So basically, depending on what dialogues there were, I want to show or hide those. So we're setting this to the setting state, but I also no, we don't have that. We do have that GM. So if we were on level complete, well, let's say we're on main menu. We don't want to accidentally press a button on the main menu. So we want to, just show main menu files. Yeah. And if we're on the dialogue, the victory dialogue, level complete. Then show victory dialogue. False. So basically same thing, different dialogue. And what else do we want? I think that's all, right? So if we're playing, we don't care. We don't have any dialogues to hide. So if we're in main menu or level complete, on the other hand, then we've got things we want to do. And then we actually want to do the same thing, but before we transition the states here. We want to show those again if that previous state was one or the other of those. So now we shouldn't have another menu open behind the settings. That is going to potentially make things problematic. So we're going for time here. Well, we've got 30 or 60 minutes, depending on what I decide. But I'm just going to hit my mute button a second. Had a cleaning day yesterday. Way too much dusting. Still a bit of sneezing going on. My finger was near the mute button. Anyway. Oh, jeez. It's just... sneezy time. So, yeah, that's good. That's dealing with those things. I could make a switch statement here. That's another thing about having an enum, but like, I'm not here making an update loop where it would make more sense to have a switch statement with every possible game state and what happens. So I'm not going to do that. That should work. Let's just test that out. See that happening. Hopefully happening. I'm actually in a main menu state at this point because it started, but I've got the main menu turned off. And if I actually open settings and close settings, it will actually show that menu because the game state starts out in main menu. But I should see this main menu in the UI manager when I hit settings. That should be disabling. And close it, it should be enabling. Let's play the game. Let's open settings again. And see main menu not opening, hopefully. Yep. But I do want to reset this to level 1. Okay, now that should have... It's enabled main menu in the background, but I don't know if it's changed the game state. Can I see that in Game Manager? I can't. But anyway, I've reset my progress. This is open, but if I hide that main menu, I've got a game in the background here. And yes, I'm just in playing state there, so that's a bug. What did I do exactly just then? Oh, I reset the game. Yeah, so when I do this reset progress here, which is in the settings dialog, in my content here, I've got this reset progress button, and that button is calling... It's actually on reset progress button. This script here. So that's this. And so Where was that click here? On button something? On button click, here we go. So that's calling reset level progress. So that's what I want to check here. Current level equals 1. Show main menu. True. And current game state. No, let me use the properties so that it gets the previous game state. Which doesn't matter at this point, but hey, let's make sure that previous game state is accurate, because otherwise it could confuse future me. Yeah, so we're basically setting it back to main menu state there. Am I calling show victory delayed? Ah, yeah, that's when the level's already finished. So that's kind of not completely accurate, right? In that I'm going straight from playing to level complete. But we actually have a delay and then the victory dialogue showing. So, so that's interesting. That could lead to some weird bugs if I added another state in here for like level complete and victory dialogue. What color have I got here now? Let's grab a similar-ish color to that other one. So let's say I added another state, ignoring that one there. Let's say I added a victory dialogue. So then it went playing, level complete, and then victory dialogue, and then starting level. From the victory dialogue, when you click the button, this transition would happen after a specific time, but if the settings dialog was open, then it might open the settings dialog, then update to victory dialog after that timer, and then the previous state would not be that, it would be settings, because it would have been like open settings, this is previous state, this is next state. Then transition happens while your settings dialog is open, settings becomes the previous state, and then settings will check if it should show that dialog. Actually, yeah, it would probably be okay. Maybe that shouldn't be called previous state, maybe that should be called like, yeah, if I had like a background state, or like, yeah, called it something like next state. And then whenever you close that. Anyway, never mind, that's overcomplicating it. I'm not going to add this in at this point. I'll only add it if needed, and then I'll solve those problems then. I've been drawing on my new real background. I'm going to need a new background. That's fine. I'll just take my game state machine and merge that down onto new real background. Rename that to game state machine. And grab myself a new layer here, which will be called actual new real background. Yeah, let's go with background instead of background. Why not? And so then I'll fill that with black. And then I'm all good. All right. So there's the state machine event again. So yeah, not going to deal with that case. But I do need to deal with, yeah, so I've got it showing main menu. That should work. Once I save up and let that go again. Once again, let me just show that main menu, because I'm starting in the main menu game state here. So play should set me into playing settings now. Hold on, let me zoom this right in and just make it so that I can put, okay, we should be able to figure out how to put this from here to here, there to there. Okay, settings. So that seems to not be dragging that across there. But if I close this and do that, it will. Okay, we got level complete. There's the next level button right there. I'm going to put my finger on or near the screen and just try to press just above this button. That would be clicking that button, but victory dialog is closed there. So I'll just close that. And indeed it's open again. Good, let's do the next level. There are some photos to put in here. Alright, well, I can see how this is going to work. You go here, and this one can be ready to go here. So let me complete that. Or not complete it. No, it is completed, but let me just reset. Yeah. Okay, it's been reset. I could see the victory dialogues hidden. The main menu is actually shown in the background there. So let me just hide that for a minute. Okay, so there's something. Oh, I see, yeah. So I was trying down here to press that button on main menu, which I did and it worked. This is actually not properly fixed, because the issue here is if we're in settings, we don't want to do that. Because we don't want the current game state to be main menu. We actually want to set up the previous game state to be main menu. So basically, if settings are showing we want the previous state to be main menu. Now, do I do the hacky workaround here? If current game state is settings, do one thing. Otherwise, do this other thing. Yeah, I guess we need different behavior anyway. We want to immediately show that main menu. No, we're only calling this from the settings dialog. But I guess there's nothing about this that says it should only be callable from there. So yeah, I could make a quick reset button on my debug canvas, for example. And so I do want to know if that's in settings or not. So if it's not in settings, just open it straight away, set the current state to main menu, no problem. But if we're in settings, we want to basically, I think, so this is one way to do it. We're in Game Manager here, so we can just do previous game state equals game state dot main menu. We could do just that. So that basically means as soon as we close that settings dialog, it'll revert to that. And the way to do it, if I was just using the properties, would be set the current game state to main menu, and then set the current game state to settings, and that would basically trigger the previous game state thing. What I like better about this one here is that it is using that property setter, and therefore it will be able to help enforce proper transitions. So I think I'll actually do that. Go. There. So that should now behave properly. And I'll just get that showing again. I really got to fix this. It looks so ugly compared to the rest of the game. Oh, it's on the list though. We'll sort it out. I also want some visibility on that game state, because I'm debugging what's going on with it without seeing it. So what was I looking to do? Oh yeah, so let's just say I do some stuff and then I want to reset my progress. There. So now it's been reset and main menu is not enabled there, but when I close it, I'm on main menu again. So that's good. So let me just make that also be visible for debugging purposes. For debugging purposes. I think I want that to be on my debug canvas, really. That'd be a perfect place for it. Debug overlay there. There are a few things I had in my input debug text, which was just some text on there. Just add a new one. Text here. And this is going to be the game state text right there. And let me just anchor that to, say, the top left. Wait, where's this button anchored? It's anchored to the top right. Let's change that to the top left. And then this game state text. Let's make it little. I want to make this regenerate button littler as well. So I'll just make this text smaller. This doesn't need to be huge. It just need to be able to click it in development. Okay. Nice little regenerate button. And grab that text there. Bring it over. Make it nice and small as well, just big enough for me to see the state. That should be fine. I'll just make this whole thing a bit smaller and just line it up with that button because aesthetics still matter even when it's just for myself. Can I limit this to just horizontal or just vertical? I don't know. Anyway, okay. So how are we going to update that and when? In update, I guess. And yeah, that is a place that I can read it. This is really hard to read because of the indentation. So I've got this multi-line string here and here. All right, so this is really just doing those things. See if we can just extract a method there. I'm just going to build input debug text there. So now we should be able to just inline this. How are we? Don't want a local. Inline temporary variable. Okay, that's much easier to read this update method. And let's just pass in the game state text. And I guess it's going to be game manager dot instance dot current game state dot to string. So I also probably don't want to do that. The input debug text, that can't be good for performance. So I think I'll just make that. Well, I did that. And I do not need this. This stuff is just from the default template. And I still haven't got around to replacing it with my own. All right. So I think in start, just want to make a boolean for this one. show that. Let's default it to true, but in start, I'll just show it if that is enabled. That way we're not even reading it. Nah, let's not do that. Instead, I will use that enabled state as the condition. If that is enabled, then show that. And I could do the same thing here. Okay, so I just need to remember to wire up that new text into the new field. And I'll also set that to nothing. Will I? It's part of the debug canvas, so. Okay, we don't know what the game state is. And can I just copy this? And just paste this after. I just wanted the text color to be different. But that's not very readable on there. So let's go with something that will show up better by darkening it, perhaps. Maybe yellow. That sort of can be red. That'll do. This is not a very important thing. Wait a minute. It's readable against that. But, that's fine. I'll muddle through for the moment. I'll make it a little bigger too. Depends how wide the screen is, whether it's readable. I'll keep it at that. Alright, did I wire that up? I don't think I did. Here. Game state text. Should be good to go. Okay, we're on main menu state, which makes sense because we should be on main menu state. If I hit play the game, now we're playing. I do settings, I'm on settings, close that, I'm playing again. Level complete, and be on that until we hit this button, although settings. Now I'm on settings, and on level complete. Oh, I want to make another one, actually. No, I'll use the same one. So let me just bring this down here. What I want here is a template string with these things in it. And some bits here that are templates. I don't know what you're doing with the indentation here, my dude. And so I'm going to have the previous state. We don't need the string on there anymore. And just a little arrow there saying I was going to the next state. And let's put this on one line because it wants to be. There. A little bit of a long line there, but essentially we can make that a shorter line, slightly more readable. Makes no difference to the execution, but makes it easier for me to maintain because I don't have to use my brain so much. We want to avoid using our brain at every opportunity. Because that is a limited resource. That sounds like a joke, but it sort of isn't. The more we can reduce mental load with things like the way that we write our code, the more mental capacity we have left for other things. Like if we're all distracted with getting in and figuring out how a bit of code works and how to modify that code, that is a distraction from the higher level thinking of broadly what we're doing. Speaking of what we're doing, I think I have finished doing this, and I think I have fixed this bug. And adding this on here was just a little extra that will probably help later with debugging if there's any issue with those game states. So I think I'll call it there because I'm tired and I need to rest. Now that's not ideal. Let's make it ideal. Well, let's get it closer to ideal. This needs to be more wide. There. I'll just make that nice and wide. And what we're talking about here is the transform, are we? Is that the only bit? Width 245? And the position changes as well. Okay. That's right, all that. That should be big enough to represent any of them. So I'll just copy this component. Copy component. Stop that. And just paste those values back. And then I also want this to be left aligned here so that it doesn't go over there in the wrong place. Okay, that's all set. Let me make a commit here. That error that keeps coming up because of destroyed transform. I think I'll just fix that in a minute. So first I'll check in this change. And it's just because that error is a distraction. Again, comes back to the mental load I was talking about. It is worth not getting in the habit of ignoring errors and not getting distracted and going, what is that error? And going, oh, it's just that one, over and over again. So what have we got here? I do not want to be having the main menu hidden by default. I want that to be showing. Now debug canvas, you'll see here, is tagged as editor only, so that should not show in my build anymore. And I think the most recent build that I've pushed up had it set up that way. Oh yeah, so make sure I save that scene and just save the hot project as well. All right. So I don't think I've checked that in either. So that this is the debug canvas being set to editor only tag instead of untagged and being active. And I'll just leave that active because it's editor only, so no problem. We've changed some sizes on debug canvas and stuff. We've got a new thing there, which I think is just that new debug for game state, and change the anchor on that regenerate button. Got our debug overlay, changing the line endings, that's fine. That game state text being added. Game manager. Yep, new states in here. The meta for that, we've got the game state. Person has been updated. This can drag. And removing that unused thing. UI manager. Got that settings dialog. Transition handling. Good. And this bundle version updated because I did a build. So, yep, that's good. This is is it MENUS or MENUES? Menus. Okay. Spell check things as MENUS, so let's go with that. Yeah. That's fine. I could split that into different commits for the different things I did, but it's all good. All right, so I'm just going to fix. Let me just add this one in here because I don't think I have it. That is a. Let's go with a caterpillar little bug. Okay. So I'll be onto the stat system next time. I'm pretty eager to get going with all those things, but here, camera drag, I believe. And we're getting a null reference. So a transform has been destroyed. This is a transform, and that is a transform. And so what's the most efficient thing to do here? Oh, I just remembered there's a major bug that breaks things. This one. I think I'm going to fix this as well today because it actually is it breaks things. My playtesters have managed to somehow drop photos outside the play area, and then it's impossible to finish the level. So I'll do that as well while I'm here. So yeah, this one basically I could do this, have this only do this if those bounds objects exist, but then we end up with this being null anyway, so the whole thing doesn't make sense. You can't do it without these bounds. So basically, If either of these is equal to null, then we're just going to return. So we'll just guard against that. And I just want to swap these. Oh, and it wants a float. So we'll just return camera size, since we don't have anything to clamp it to. But that means that we're calling this from somewhere when we don't have those. Okay. Calling it on start. That's not going to be the one when I close this, is it? So, well, I don't think it will, but who knows? Right, we've got a late update. And this one, also late update. And this one here, screen resized. I suspect it's this one, because I think the others would probably not continue. Which means that we might end up with something like null reference there. We might end up with the same thing from here. Well, why don't I start that running and get ready to stop that as well, and just see what happens. And also have a look at this. So the game should be running. But this is when I stop it. I'm getting a missing reference. It's happening there at 2:13, which is clamp within bounds, which is coming from that screen resized. So yeah, I think rather than do that in here, maybe just on this screen resized. If those don't exist, just don't bother, because it's when we're closing the game anyway. Yep. Okay, and for the position of these photos when dragging, let's have a look here. So let's just open up person there. And so we've got dragging, mouse drag. So we've got our screen point, our cursor position. Start dragging and dragging, so on. This must be it. So we're just setting this position. So I think I need to do some kind of clamping in here. So I'll clamp the X on my position within the game area. So I've got those bounds. So if I look at the camera drag here, we've got these camera bounds, which are these two transforms here. And I basically want to use the same bounds for that. I wonder if I should be doing this with something. Let's think about this for a minute. So basically what I have is these camera bounds here. And that's just a pair of objects that define the bottom left and top right of the play area, or of where the camera can go. So I can just reuse that. Anyway, just try and trigger that bug quickly. It shouldn't matter what state it's in, really. Cool. We didn't get that error on the console, so that's wonderful. We've just got the when it used to be selected previously. Cool, so that's great. That is fixed. All right, so clamping that position. So I can use the same thing. I can't just go adding it to each photo, or I'd have to add it into the photo prefab for that to work. Actually, let's just have a look what we've got here. Camera drag has some things in it. We don't want any of that stuff. We've got clamp camera size, clamp within bounds. It's going to be something like this anyway. So that's making it so you can't pan the camera outside. We basically want to do the same kind of thing, but use those bounds. Could be the same or different bounds. So I think I want maybe a different set of boundaries here. So yeah, let me do that. Set that up. Actually, yeah, new one. Just create an empty game object called page bounds. Just zero that out. Okay, let's just make another one. In page bounds. And it's just haven't really got anything to hold on to, but Let's just move it to like there and down to there. Got some kind of mouse acceleration going on there. Okay, let's just duplicate that and give it a sensible name. Just might start by reversing the signs on these. That should give us something. Just hide that main menu so I can actually see it. So looks like we could easily move that a little higher. Oh, a little righter and a little higher to there or so. And let's jump over to this other one, and that looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit further to the left. There. Go down a smidge. Splitting hairs at this point. All right, cool. So we've got those page bounds. Might make a script for that. Don't know why this goes onto my other monitor. Here we go. Got myself a page bounds script. I'll just pop that onto page bounds here. Okay, it's not finished loading that yet. There it goes. Okay. Pop that on there. Open that script. And make that a singleton. Just camera drag a singleton. Nah. Game manager is, so. We want an instance. And we want this stuff here. We want the instance to be one of those. And I think we're all set with that. And then I also want to have some read-only things. What is all of this? Okay, I want the same thing camera drag has here. Just transforms. Okay, now I want those to just be properties that can be read. This is page bounds, so I'll just call it page bounds.min. That looks fine. This is public, so it can be read from the other script. And we can duplicate that. Now I'm wondering, do I actually want to just have these be readable and have the clamping happen in the in the thing, and I think not. So maybe I don't want these to be public at all. I'll leave them commented out for the moment, because what I could have is just a transform of position, which is a vector, say vector 3, clamp within page. We're going to clamp a position. So we're going to have a vector 3 position. That's our input position. And we're going to have a vector 2 dimensions. So this basically can clamp anything. To clamp a position to stay within the page. So we're basically clamping the position to stay within the page. Position to clamp, and the dimensions will be factored in. So yeah, size of the object, width and height. Width and height of the thing being positioned. Yeah, so that basically will give us, we can factor that position in. And I think I'm going to just steal that code from camera drag. Clamp within bounds. Yes, I think that does basically what I want. So it's got the size, and then it clamps like that. So let's use that as our starting point for this code here. Okay, so we don't need that because we've got dimensions. I will inline that at some point. Okay, so call this camera bus so we can rename it. Okay, and then min page bounds. Next page bounds. Okay, so got our X, we've got our Y. Okay, so I think that canvas is a half size. So we probably want to go with our actual dimensions that it is, which means we want to divide those by 2. Oops, not cam size. Oh yeah, it is. It's just not the actual camera size because we haven't renamed it yet. Okay, so cam size. We can just inline that. And this one we can inline as well. Do we want to? Wait. No. But we do want to rename that. I think these are a struct, and the behavior I've noticed with these is assigning to something in a struct sort of makes a new one, maybe. Don't know. We're starting at position. I guess we can inline that. I think that'll still work. Fine. You just start with the position and then we. Oh, because it's a struct, it's passed by value, so we just get the value. We don't not change the reference to the previous one. Okay, that should be fine. I should be able to call that. It's public. Those are not. Person on mouse drag. So now we want to grab our page bounds dot instance. Why no instance? Oh. Yeah, I probably wanted to have a getter for that instance, like so. Yeah. That's not one of those. So one of these. There we go. All right, back to person here. And there is an instance, I promise. All right, great. So we're going to take our position here, which is current position. And actually, reassign that to that. And we want some dimensions here. What are the dimensions of this? Did I give these some kind of dimensions? I thought I did have something that was the size of persons so that I could position them. Yeah, I thought I had something with their position. Let me have a look here. And immediately while I'm here, just drag those into there so that this doesn't break. And now let me look at the person prefab. I don't think I have anything there. But what's the actual size of these anyway? They're being scaled 1.5. And got like the outer here. I think we might be about 14 by 10. If these are, if those little squares are units. So let's try that. And why don't I just adjust that with a, oh no, that's going to be per individual one. I won't adjust that with a thing. But I don't think I should be creating this vector every time. Width about 10 and height about 14. There, so that should be clamping it. But let's get this and cool. This is not what I want. Sure, let's introduce it as a local. And then see if we can promote that to a thing. Oh yeah, do that nice syntactic sugar. I'm just going to hard code this dimensions. Do I want to though? I might just do this so I can at least update it on the prefab easily without having to reconfigure it. All right, that could work. Let's see if that's fixed that. So it's like a message has come in. And around when I was planning to finish up. Interesting. All right, I don't want to have that prefab open. I want to be somewhere here. Interesting. So we're in a main menu state. We'll just regenerate. Now we're in a playing state. Now this is the bit. Now I can take one of these and try and move it. I can't get it off the page. Perfect. That's what I wanted. Oops. There, yeah. So they're stuck in the page. Not allowed to put them out of bounds. Cool. Guess maybe there. Yeah. Cool. It won't go off the page. I'm going to call that bug fixed. And then I'm going to finish this level and then make a commit. Green. Like that. No. One of these ones. Done. I'll be interested to see what happens when I get more hair colors, because that's coming up not too long. what will that experience be like? Oh, there's someone else. What is going on here? Really long hair plus really short hair equals pretty short hair? Yeah. So, right, I was going to make a commit. So let's grab this and better make sure everything's saved properly as well. Not the end of the world if it's not, because I can always just amend the commit. But that does mean I might have there's the new bounds, I guess, in there. It means I might have some changes mixed together that aren't really related. So that is, hang on, this is just fixing that thing here. That was that first bug. Prevent exception. Quit game just because it's distraction. Okay. Then everything else in here should be those changes. Yeah, no changes. That's just the line endings updating. Doesn't matter. Yeah, we don't want this min-max on page bounds. So I tend to always use my time of committing my code as my time to do a quick review. Make sure that I'm only committing what's expected and that I haven't done anything, included anything silly, that kind of thing. Like this main game scene, I think I might be here deactivating that main menu, which I don't really want committed. So let me just get that reactivated. And no, I can't tell just from looking at this that was main menu. Just by glancing at it anyway. It's just that I know that that's something that changed. Right, so page bounds, we've got that. Make sure I haven't got any like access comments in there. Things seem to be reasonably named. I don't think I need that comment there. It's not adding anything, so I will change that in person. .cs. Wherever that is, just here. All right, so that should update. Okay, let's commit that. And then maybe I'll go and have a nap. There we go. So I could have also done that without the dimensions and just like adjusted the page bounds so that the photos are always in a good spot, since I'm only using it for photos. But that could change, you know. Maybe, probably not for this game, given the scope. So basically what I'm saying is I overcomplicated that and probably took longer than I needed to. But oh well. Looks like up next I'm going to be doing the stat system and a tutorial system, and then I think that's the remaining systems. The attribute system I've got here as like completed, but there are some attributes that I've considered doing that I'll probably, once I'm filling in the content of the game, decide whether to add those in. yeah, so I think after the systems are done, I'm going to do a code cleanup and then get into my production phase, getting all the polish in and all the content in. So, great. I'm going to call the stream there. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope you got something out of it.